all doing well today. This week's been very, oddly slow for me. I feel like we finally arrived at Thursday, but I actually thought it was Saturday this morning in my head. So, I don't know what that says about my week. I'm not sure. I'm Maeve. If you're new to me, I'm so happy you're here. If you have any injuries, anything I should know about, put it in the chat. I'll come back up and look once we've gotten started. We're going to start on our backs. If you have a strap, I seem to have misplaced my strap. It's probably somewhere in my house. Or if a towel will work, we're going to start on our backs with our right leg extended up. Left leg can be bent with foot flat or leg out straight. So my towel is very short. If you need a longer towel, make sure it's one that gives you some freedom here to have space. It's not about cranking the leg in. I want you to find some space. And then when you've kind of got this, you're going to bend the right leg. And when I say kind of got that, it's like we don't really know where we're going. So when you've just got this general position, you'll bend the right leg. And then you're going to inhale. You're going to extend the leg into strap or towel. And then exhale, soften. And inhale, extend. And exhale, soften. You're just going to keep that little gentle breath, movement-based awareness going on your own. So it's an inhale to straighten, and it's an exhale to soften. If you don't need a strap or towel, or if you just don't have one handy and you don't feel like moving, just hold wherever you need to. So the idea here is that you are working towards straightening the leg. I like a strap or a towel here because it gives me something to push into. And the next time you straighten, whatever that amount of straight is, you'll hold it there. Become aware of the left leg, whether it's bent or straight. Really press it down into the ground. And then start to notice the shoulders and see if you can draw the shoulders back toward the floor and then kind of hug the shoulders toward the hips so that we start to engage in the lats, the big muscles of the back, along the sides of the body. And just keep that breath steady and even. Last breath in. And then exhale, bend the knee, and just release the leg all the way down. Take a pause. Inhale, and exhale. One more breath here, inhale. And exhale. And then the left leg is going to come in. And bring the strap towel around the foot, or if you don't need it or don't have it, just hold wherever you can. And when you get there, with the strap organized around your foot, bend the left leg. So starting from there, right leg straight or bent, but pressing down, and then inhaling, straightening any amounts, and then exhale, softening. So this is the first thing we're doing out of the gate. This does not have to be the craziest hamstring stretch. Let it be as easy as it needs to be, as a matter of fact. If that means that you're holding down here and you're just barely getting some extension in that leg, so be it. And the next time you press out to whatever your version of straight is, you'll just stay there for a few breaths. And then again, start to notice the shoulders. Draw them toward the floor, so back, and then gently down. You're not cranking them toward the hips, but there is that sense of shortening from the shoulder to the hip to engage the lat. Front ribs are soft. Breath is steady and even. more, inhale. And then bend your knee with your exhale. And just release all the way down. Both legs out straight. Take a moment, just pause, full inhale. And full exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, last breath in here. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Keep the breath flowing. And then move into hands and feet for downward facing dog. In the same way you had your foot pressing into the strap or whatever apparatus you were using, or your leg, you're pushing your feet into the ground to find the length in the legs here. You're finding the straightness in the legs. It doesn't mean that your legs are straight already. They may not ever straighten in down dog, and that's totally fine. As a matter of fact, let's all put a little bend in both of the knees. And then exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. And then exhale, straighten the legs. So that same action of bending and straightening here. So very much less about the end product, but more about the process of getting to straight legs. And again, the legs don't have to be all the way straight. And the next time the legs come towards straight, you hold there. And finding a little bit of that same sense of the shoulders connecting to the hips. So that the back of your body is giving you support. The big muscles of your back relax. And with your next inhale, stretch your right leg straight back. And then exhale, knee into your chest, shift forward. Try to glide the shoulders over the hands. Try to pull this right heel toward your sitting bone and pull the knee forward a little bit more. So you are in basically cat's pose in the back here. And then place the right foot next to the right hand and then left knee down. Blocks if you have them, if you need them. Half splits, shifting back. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Awesome. Good. Dig your front heel in. Kind of hug the right hip back. And then moving slowly, if it's okay, taking the toes, the foot side to side, keeping the heel rooted down, and just kind of like you're waving with your foot, like, hey, what's up? Waving that foot side to side. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And then come through center. Shift forward. Bring the blocks with you if you need them. Tuck your toes, root the back heel, and then both legs some degree of straight. And again, it's more about the action of straightening than actually having straight legs. So pressing the feet down, drawing up on the kneecaps, not just pushing the knee back, but drawing up and finding length. Notice the weight in your feet and see if you can balance it any more than they already are. So inner and outer foot, front and back foot. One more breath here. And then bend your right knee. Block, if you're using it, comes right to match the shin. You're going to bend the right knee, root the back heel down, and then turn open for side angle. So bring your left hand to the back of your hips and then lengthen your tailbone for your left heel. Roll the left shoulder open. Push like crazy into the right hand. You can also have your arm on your thigh. And use that to wrap the chest open a bit more. And then left arm maybe reaches toward the front of your mat overhead as a continuation of the line of energy of your back leg. Maybe you bend the front leg a little more, hug the right hip under the body a bit more. And then think of the action of straightening the back leg. One more breath in. And then come around. Left hand comes to the ground, pivot over to the pinky side of your left foot. You're gonna pull your right knee up, if it's there for you. Vashisthasana, with this knee lifted, or not. Yes. Beautiful. You can do this with a knee on the bottom knee down if you need. One more breath in, and then come through center to plank. Take a breath in, downward facing dog, exhale. Left leg back, inhale. And then exhale, knee down the center. Try to shift the shoulders forward. Pull that left heel toward your left sitting bone. Let the upper back round. Draw the knee forward a bit more, and then see if you can place your left foot forward. Right knee comes down, blocks if you need them, half splits. Dig that left heel down. Kind of hug the left hip back a little bit, deepen the crease of that hip, beautiful. And then if it's okay, dig the heel in, just wave that left foot side to side. And as you're waving that foot, if you're doing it, it's traveling all the way up the leg so that you're getting right into the hip socket. You're feeling the femur moving in that hip socket, not just the lower leg, not just the foot. And then come through center. Pull the heart forward. Shift forward, bring the blocks with you if needed. Tuck the back toes, turn the back heel down. So pressing the legs long to straighten them. Last inhale, and then exhale, bend the front leg. Bring your block to kind of match your shin. Root the back heel. Toes turn open a little bit more. Bring your hands to the back of your hips. Good. So you might need to adjust your length of stance. Tailbone extends for that right heel. Gently shorten from hip points to ribs on both sides. Lengthen out the left side of your rib cage. And then maybe this arm comes around as a continuation of the energy in that right leg. And then feeling the balance in the feet. And as you start to really get a sense of pushing the feet down, you can kind of guide the leg, not kind of, you can. You can guide the leg up. So just as we did when we waved our foot and we were guiding the leg all the way up, changing where you put the pressure in your feet changes what happens to the leg all the way up into the hip socket. One more inhale. And then bring it around. Pivot over onto the pinky side of the right foot. And then knee up if it's okay, Vashisthasana. Come to plank in the center. Take a breath in. This time lower to your belly. Cobra, inhaling. About 5 breaths here. Hands pull toward the back of the mat. This doesn't have to be super high. Down dog with your exhale. Pause and breathe. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Look at your hands. Bring your feet to your hands. Halfway with your inhale. Keep the space, fold down. Inhale, rise to stand. Sweep the arms up. And then draw your hands into your heart with your exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, kneecaps lifts, forward fold. You can bend your knees to fold forward. Lengthen halfway with your inhale. Step to plank, lower down to the ground or halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And downward facing dog with your exhale. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, feet to your hands. Lengthen halfway, inhale. Fold deeply, exhale. Rise to stand, inhale. And draw your hands into your heart, exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, rise. Downward facing dog, exhale. Soft, even, steady breath. Lift your heels, inhale. Bend your knees, look forward. Feet to your hands. Halfway, inhale. Fold deeply, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Hands into your heart, exhale. Chair pose, inhaling. Good. Balance your weight in your feet. So good, so good. Left knee lifts up. Left knee lifts up. And think of the action to straighten this leg. So we're actually going to do exactly what we did lying on our back. You're going to soften your right knee. And you're going to straighten the leg. Push, 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 push the foot away. Soften the knee. Push the foot away. Engage the glute. Lift the heart. Do that again. One more time. And then push through. Virabhadrasana 3. You can bring your hands into your heart if you want. You can keep the arms overhead. If you feel like you need a little more support today, 2 blocks under the shoulders. Make sure that the blocks are far enough forward that you're not in a standing split and that you are actually extending the spine forward into Virabhadrasana 3. Inner left thigh lifts. Think of the action of straightening the legs. Think of the action of straightening the legs, pushing that left foot back behind you, pushing that right foot down. And it doesn't mean that you have to straighten the legs. It's not the end product, it's the action behind it. And then bend the right leg. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. And then coming into Skandasana, slowly. And maybe you take it deep, maybe you don't. And think of the action of straightening this right leg. Come around to the top of your mat, left hand down, left heel to the sky, right hand to the sky. Just a nice, easy twisting lunge. Yeah, gorgeous. Front foot pushes down. It energetically pulls toward the back of the mat. And then back foot pushes down and it pulls toward the front of the mat energetically. Beautiful. One more inhale. Bring your right hand to your right ankle, your heel, your calf, and then start to pull from the front leg. Push off the back toes and come into standing splits. So keep the left hand down. Of course, if you need the right hand, go for it. If you need a block under your left hand, go for it. Always adapt the pose to meet you where you are on any given day. Deepen the crease of the right hip. Allow the spine to drop down. That doesn't mean it has to come into the leg. Let the spine drop down. Sometimes you actually feel more spacious if you take your chest forward a little bit more. Play with it. Play with it. If you're new to me, and even if you're not, I'm going to reiterate, I want this space to be a place for you to explore your breath, your body, your mind, without any restrictions. So that means that you can do as you want when you are in a pose. I'm giving you an offering and you take it if it works, and if it doesn't, you skip it. Bring your feet together, chair. The act of observing gives us the opportunity to make changes, to adapt. Right knee's going to rise up. Let's take a couple breaths, find your center. And then working the action of straightening the legs. You're going to bend the left knee to standing leg. Sit just a little bit, and then push back up. And when you bend that knee, take your hips back a little bit more than going forward. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. So this is what we did on our back basically in the very beginning of class. Basically, loosely. Good. Come through center. Push the right leg through. And come to warrior 3. Whatever that version is for you. Left hip is pinning in toward the right. Inner right thigh is lifting up toward the sky. Good. Yes, yes. If you fall out of the pose, who cares? Who cares? Come back to it when it's there for you. And then feel the action of straightening the legs. It doesn't necessarily mean that the legs are straight, but there's that action of straightening them. And then bend your left knee, tip a little forward. This will help you transition to stretch the right leg back, come up and around. And then we sink down, Skandasana, this side lunge. You don't have to have your hands off the ground. You can keep your hands down to support. You can find wherever you need to be. Use blocks here if you want. So good. There's not a hierarchy in how good a pose is based on the version of the pose. All there is what your body's willing to give you today and how you feel in that place. So maybe there's a chance that you could go deeper into a pose, but what it evokes in you isn't representative of why you get on your mat. And this is the observation process. Come around, top of the mat, right hand down, right heel lifts up. Left hand to the sky. And then pull the feet toward each other. Bring your left hand to your left leg. Push off the back toes, pull from the front foot, and then lift up, standing splits. And think of the action of straightening the legs. Do you see a theme here? We are working on straightening our damn legs. It's the action though, not the end result. feet together, top of the mat. Come into chair with your inhale. Take a breath in, and then forward fold with your exhale. Halfway inhale, chaturanga, exhale. If you want to skip chaturanga, skip it. If you want to modify it, modify it. We'll make our way to downward facing dog. So every time we move toward down dog, you have your choice in the pathway. Pause and breathe. Right leg back with an inhale. Come straight down the center with your exhale. Place your right foot top of the mat. Bend your left knee, shift back, dig the right heel in. Pull the heart forward. And then press the back leg towards straight. Keep the back heel up. Melt if it's okay. And then root the back heel, side angle. If you need that block, grab it. Opening up. Bring the left hand around. Pivot to the pinky side of the left foot. Vashisthasana, maybe picking up this right knee. So this is what we did in that first sort of standing round. And then right foot's going to come to the top of the mat. Lift, push into that right foot to come into warrior three. Tip a little forward, bend the right knee. And then step the left foot back, come into skandasana. Come back around to the top of your mat. Nice easy twist, left hand down, set it up. You've got time, I promise you. Right hand comes to the right leg. Standing splits, lift this left leg up. Come to chair, top of the mat. Press up to stand, drive the feet down, the action of straightening the legs. Tailbone for the heels, bend the elbows, lift the heart to the sky. Reach back up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway inhale. Vinyasa through chaturanga, up dog, down dog, or simply step back to down dog. That's your call. From downward facing dog, left leg back, inhale. Just keep the hips neutral, please. And then exhale, knee down the center, place your foot. Bend the right knee, shift back, hover the knee, and then push the back foot down to straighten the legs, any amount. You're going to bend the left knee, root the right heel, side angle, grab a block if you need it, or move your arm up to your thigh. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Come around. Vashisthasana. Pick up that left knee. And then step the foot right back to the top of the mat. Stand. Warrior three, I lied. Warrior three, I lied. Good. Come here. Beautiful. Good. Now skandasana, back of the mat, transition in. I got a little excited to get into standing splits. But we'll get there. Come back around. Top of the mat. Twist it open. And now standing splits. Bring the feet together. Chair. This time, rise up, right knee comes up. Take the right hand to the right knee, left hand to your left hip. Find the action of straightening the legs. Maybe extend this right leg out and find the big toe. If you have a strap, go for it. And take a few breaths here. Good. Good. If you have the towel, strap or towel or your foot, we're going to do what we did lying on your back. You're going to bend the knee, and you're going to push the leg out. Exhale. Inhale. Push. If you're holding your knee, you're just there, you're great. One more time. And then hold it out. This time, open out to the right, left arm out to the side. So we didn't do that on the floor, but you're ready. You're ready. We've opened up the hips. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. You might fall. Did I mention I don't care? Don't care if you fall, just go for it. And then we'll do the same thing. Bend the knee, push the foot away. The action of straightening and bending that front leg, or that lifted leg, it's not front anymore, it's out to the side. Yes. And then come back around through center. Woo, both arms up, leg out. I would like it if you try at least to straighten your right leg, even if it's low. Do your best to straighten it. So we've been working on that action. And then do your best to straighten your standing leg. That's when things get tough. Yes. Yes. And then light as a feather into chair. Beautiful. And we're going to do all that on the other side. So left knee lifts up. And you're going to take your left knee with your left hand. Right hand can come to your right hip. So feel the action in the standing leg. Pushing the foot down. Not just jamming the knee back, especially like my knee's hyperextended. If I think about pushing my knee back to straighten my leg, I'm like a stork. It's going the wrong direction. Or flamingo. I don't know if storks go the wrong way. I'm a flamingo. How's that? Maybe take the foot. And then soften. And straighten. And soften. And straighten. And you can do both legs if you want. Like if that gives you a better sense of how to stand on that standing leg, go for it. And the next time you extend out, hold it out. Take the arm out to the side. And then either from the foot or from the knee, open out to the left. Steady your gaze, steady your breath. Really nice. Come back to center. And let's see if we can extend that leg out and work both legs to straighten. And then chair. So good. Take a breath in. Forward fold with your exhale. Halfway, inhale. Make your way to downward facing dog with your breath. Right leg back, inhale. Exhale, draw your foot forward. Bend the back leg, straighten the front leg, shift back. And then this time, come back up, straighten both legs, root the back heel, open into triangle, please. You're going to soften the right knee, and you're going to press the leg straight. Straight-ish, whatever that is. Soften the right leg, and then press into straight. Feel the foot. Beautiful. One more time. Remember, it's not just driving the knee back. It's the action of lengthening and pushing the foot away. This time, hold it. Hand can be on the block, on the floor. If it's there for you, find your big toe. It may not be there for you. This is a pretty deep version of triangle. You can also shorten your stance up a little bit if that makes it more accessible. And then bring your left hand around. Pivot onto the pinky side of your left foot. And if you have the big toe, consider keeping it. You're going to bring the knee around. And I'm going to push away to try to straighten. Vashisthasana B. Beautiful. One more breath in. And then chaturanga with your exhale. Rise, inhale. And down dog, exhale. Left leg stretches back, inhale. Knee down the center. And then place your foot. Start to straighten the front leg, bend the back knee. And then push up, root the back heel, and then open for triangle. And then adjust your feet if needed. So you don't have to arrive in the perfect spot. Fix it. Block if you need it. Soften the knee with an exhale. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And I'm going to hold it here. And maybe look down and find that big toe. It's a great big maybe. And your alignment doesn't have to be completely perfect here. If you want to just get the sense of what it feels like to get the big toe, sometimes you have to sacrifice something just to get the sensation, then you work into it. Or you maybe decide, you know what, that big toe thing is ridiculous, I'm not doing it. And then come around. Right hand comes down to the ground, pivot to the pinky side of your right foot. We're coming into Vashisthasana, bring the knee up. It doesn't mean that you have to straighten the top leg rather. It just gives you the option to work in that direction. Yeah? And then when you're ready, chaturanga, beautiful. Yes. Inhale, open and rise, really good. And then downward facing dog. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. And then walk your hands back to your feet. First 2 fingers and thumbs, wrap your big toes. Inhale, pull the heart forward. Good. Take a few breaths here. Lengthen out the spine. Front ribs draw up gently. Good. Balance the weight in your feet. Your knees do not have to be straight. Elbows go wide to draw the body down. With the torso down. With an inhale, pull the heart forward. Bring your hands onto the ground. Lift your heels. Keep your feet where they are initially. Just bring your knees into your triceps. Let your hips kind of drop down a little bit and your heels get as high as possible. Yes. Hug the elbows in toward each other. Shift forward if it's there for you. Bring the big toes to touch. And then try to pull the heels toward your sitting bones. Bakasana, crow. Spread the shoulder blades. Find that little bit of cat's pose in the upper back, even in the lower back. Bring the feet down to the ground. And then slide your whole hand under your foot, Padahastasana, melting down. Again, your legs do not have to be straight. Your legs do not have to be straight. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Really nice. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then walk out to a short down dog. Take your feet even wider. And then take your left hand over to your right heel, your calf, your ankle, whatever you can get a hold of. And give yourself a really good twist here. And with this shorter stance in down dog, is there an opportunity to straighten the legs a little more? Maybe the heels actually come down to the ground. Maybe they don't. Don't feel bad if they don't. I didn't mean it in that way, but there's a greater opportunity to get them there. Release that hand and then go to the other side. Come back to center. Walk your hands back to your feet again. Start with this wide stance in your feet. Come into Malasana. Nice. All right. You're going to slide your hands to the insides of your feet. And then you're going to take your hand maybe to the back of your heel, and then your other hand to the back of your heel, and see if you can kind of wriggle your shoulders inside your knees a little more. And then maybe the hands slide up to the top of your Achilles or your lower calf, and then you do the same thing and you wriggle your shoulders in a little more. And then maybe your hands come to your calves and you wriggle your shoulders in a little more and try to get those legs to come around. And then bring your hands back down to the ground. Bend the knees. Sit your hamstrings onto your elbows. And then maybe just start to float the feet. Maybe not. Maybe hook the feet. And then squeeze the shoulders into the knees. Pull the thumbs toward each other. Let the back round a little bit. And then gently release out. Tip forward, a little shift. And then come back into Malasana. Good. We're just making shapes. And honestly, the shapes don't matter. It's the actions, it's the journey, it's not the end product. So you'll come along for as much of the ride as it suits you, and you leave the things that don't suit you. So we're going to do that again. You can also just take a forward fold here. So if you're feeling like you need this to be a little quieter, a little softer, you'll bring the shoulders inside the knees, and maybe just squeeze the knees into the shoulders to get that sense of kind of drawing inward to the center. If you want, you're going to do the same process. Take the hands to the heels, wiggle the shoulders, and slide the hands a little higher, and take the knees a little further over the shoulders. I always think of this as like putting on a backpack. Getting ready for school, backpack on, put the hands down, come to your big toes, and start to lift the heart a little bit. Then maybe extend the legs out. Just think of the action of straightening the legs. Hug the elbows in, hug the thumbs toward each other. Good. Firefly, TT Basana. Beautiful. Bend the legs. Come back forward, shift physics forward to come out. Malasana again. Beautiful. Take a few breaths here. If you never do an arm balance in your yoga practice, you are just fine. I'm giving you an offering. You'll take them or you won't. A couple more breaths here. Okay, back into either just a forward fold. Give yourself this moment here. Or we're going to go back into TT Basana if it's there for you. So take your time, kind of wriggle forward, wriggle the legs over. And then release your hands down. Come to the big toes. And then think of the action of straightening the legs and extending. And then maybe lift your butt. Come into crow. And then however you want, everyone downward facing dog. I didn't give myself enough room to go back, so I'm going to go forward. With a vinyasa or without it. So good. And then from downward facing dog, right leg stretches back with an inhale. Bring your knee forward, place your right foot top of the mat. Coming back into half splits where we started, with the option of taking this deeper. So if you have a block, you can put a block under your right hip so that you're really supported here. Awesome, yes. Here's the thing with splits. This is not a passive place. We're really actively here. You're pushing both feet down. Even when you're all the way down, you're not just collapsed down and resting there. There's a sense of squeezing the feet toward each other, this sense of lifting, pushing into the back foot, pushing into the front foot. This sense of like you're in control. If you're in a full split, gently draw the right leg back. Rebend the front leg. You're going to walk the right foot over toward the left. We're coming into single leg pigeon. Coming forward if it's okay. And so the back leg is really similar to full Hanumanasana. There's action in the foot, in the leg. And you're guiding the back leg towards straight, so you're stretching the foot away. Two more breaths here. Lift your heart up, lift your spine. You can shift off into your right hip. You're going to bring your left leg from the back of your mat all the way around. Bring the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. You can kind of tuck this right foot back by the left hip, and then we're going to twist to your left. Last inhale. And then release from the twist. You're going to push into your left foot. So physics help a lot. A little bit of momentum wouldn't be a bad idea either. You're going to lengthen forward. You're going to lift into this left foot. Your right leg lifts. You're going to pass through Warrior 3 to bring your hands down to the ground. So from here, you can just stay, take a few breaths in standing splits. You can step it back through Vinyasa. Or if you want to take a few lifts here for a handstand, you'll just shift forward. Yes. And then take it back, Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Really well done. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it, Jean. And then left leg back with your inhale and place your foot forward. Right knee down, half splits, full splits, something in between. Don't expect this side to feel exactly the same, so go carefully in. Again, if you're using a block, you can put it so the hip is supported. And then working the action of straightening the legs. Beautiful. Good. If you're in the full version, carefully draw that left leg back. You're going to shift forward and walk the left foot over toward the right for pigeon. I'm going to beg you, if you haven't already done so, to stop feeling the need to pull your shin toward the top of the mat. If it's okay on your body, that's fine, but when we make this the marker of a successful pigeon pose, we're just selling the pose short for all the benefits that we can find here. It's not just about pulling that front shin forward. I would recommend just letting go of that. Put awareness instead on pressing the front shin down, the front foot down, pressing the back foot down, getting that rooting energy into the ground. And against that rooting energy, you do get the opportunity to soften and go a little deeper, but without being completely passive. breaths here. And then start to rise up in your torso and your spine. You can shift over to the left hip a little bit, and then bring this right leg from the back all the way around. Yes, nice, Emily. You can bring this left up closer to the right hip, and then we twist to the right. Beautiful, yeah. I like to hug the knee. You can totally hook the elbow. If wrapping here, I didn't do that on the first side, but I'm guessing that if you really like that, you probably did it anyway. So play, play, play. Last full breath in. Your exhale softens you out. You're going to shift forward. If you need a little rock to get there, go for it. Come through warrior three. And then hands down. You can stay in standing splits if you'd like. You can take some hops for handstand. And then Vinyasa, if you want it, last one. And then child's pose out of it. And then rise up. We're going to finish in a seated meditation today. If you absolutely prefer Shavasana, I have no problem with that. So you choose where you want to be. If you're sitting with me in meditation, let your hands rest on your thighs. Allow your eyes to soften if it's okay. If you don't want to close your eyes, it's totally fine, by the way. And I say that often, but if it makes you uncomfortable to close your eyes, please don't. Kind of like glaze, like a half drishti in the eyes. So maybe let your eyes sort of rest on a spot. I always think of a half drishti like if you ever took public transportation and you didn't want to make direct eye contact with anyone and you kind of looked off and let that thing happen in your eyes. That's a half drishti. And if you're wondering at all what you should be doing here in either Shavasana or seated meditation, stop worrying, you're already doing it. Just be. ground under you. If you chose to take Shavasana, you're welcome to stay for as long as you want. You're also welcome to move gently to seated now if you'd like. And then with an inhale, hands come to our heart. Feel your breath, feel your body, feel your mind here. Yes, feel your mind. It's like take the temperature, take the pulse of your brain. Inhale together. Exhale, bow your mind to your heart in gratitude for this practice, for your body, for your mind. Rise, inhale, eyes open gently. You're amazing. Thank you for your practice. Let me know how you